You want to talk about socialism for the rich? It is not the bill that puts $2,000 into working class hands all over this country. That ain't socialism for the rich.
Socialism for rich people. A terrible way to help those who need it.
Now, I'm delighted that after talking on the floor of the Senate for years about socialism for the rich, apparently that has gotten across to my Republican friends. Of course, that's what we do every single day. That's why we have the incredible level of income and wealth inequality that exists in this country, because decade after decade, we have used this body to provide massive tax breaks to the rich, provided corporate welfare to corporations who don't need it. That is socialism for the rich. Majority Leader is right. But let's talk about, in fact, what is in this bill. According to the Tax Policy Center, less than 1% of the benefits of the direct payments, that's the $2,000 per working class adult that Senator Schumer and I are talking about, less than 1% would go to the top 5% of Americans. Virtually nothing goes to the very, very rich. Overwhelming majority of those funds go to the middle class, the working class, low-income people who, in the midst of this pandemic, are in desperate economic condition. Now, again, I am delighted to hear the Majority Leader talking about socialism for the rich, and I hope we will continue that discussion in the next session. So let me talk about the socialism for the rich that the Majority Leader is enthusiastically supportive of. Majority Leader helped lead this body to pass Trump's tax bill. Now, you want to talk about socialism for the rich, Mr. Majority Leader? Under that bill, Charles Koch, one of the very richest people in America, he has a net worth of $113 billion. That bill gave Mr. Koch a $1.4 billion tax break. Majority Leader, that sounds to me like socialism for the rich. That's not all. Way in Nevada, we have a gentleman named Sheldon Adelson, a major contributor to the Republican Party, big funder for Donald Trump. Under that same tax bill, led by the Majority Leader, Sheldon Adelson received a $560 million tax break. Guy is worth $34 billion, desperately needed that tax break, $560 million. Want more tax breaks for the rich? Want to talk about socialism for the rich? Senator McConnell had no problem giving a $104 million tax refund to Amazon over the past 3 years, despite the fact that that company made $30 billion in profit. So the argument that this bill in any significant way benefits the rich is just not accurate.
Socialism for rich people is a terrible way to help the American families that are actually struggling. So let me say that again. Borrowing from our grandkids to do socialism for rich people is a terrible way to get help to families who actually need it. Socialism for rich people. That's what Speaker Pelosi and Senator Sanders have sketched out. A terrible way to help those who need it.
But while we are on the subject of socialism for the rich, which my Republican friends have suddenly become very concerned about, let me talk about the Trump tax proposal that was pushed very hard by Senator McConnell and the Republican leadership, and where I think every Republican voted for it. You want to talk about socialism for the rich? It is not the bill that puts $2,000 into working class hands all over this country. That ain't socialism for the rich. This is socialism for the rich. In that bill, Amazon, oh, by the way, I must say this if I may, we were quoting the liberal Washington Post owned by Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest guy in the world. So here is Jeff Bezos' company, Amazon, and they received a tax rebate. They paid nothing in 2018 in federal taxes. That's a corrupt tax system to begin with. But then on top of that, they received $129 million as a tax rebate. That, Senator Thune, is what socialism for the rich. In fact, this particular company is owned by the richest guy in the world. You gave him a $129 million rebate.